Well, good evening, everyone. So glad you could join our team Zoom tonight. And it's very exciting to have our special friend, David Misener, sharing with us tonight. Just going to share a little bit of his background, which is incredible. He's been married to his wife, Lena, for, my goodness, 29 years. David, you don't look old enough to be married that long.
I'm not.
And they have 4 children, and they currently have 3 businesses. The first one is nutrigenomics, real estate, and Arabian horse breeding. And David has a Master of Divinity and a Master of Gerontology, which is the study of aging. How appropriate is that? And I love David. He's been a great friend and a great business leader for a number of years now, and getting close to Pro 7, so we're real excited to have a big celebration when that happens. So he is going to share with us tonight some business tips. So David, I'm just going to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Julie. I remember my first encounter with Julie was the day after I enrolled. I went to a meeting, I saw Jackie Shepard share. I'm like, wow, that's a powerful testimony. And I believe it worked, that Protandim was the reason it worked for her, but I don't necessarily believe that it's going to work for everybody. And then she showed me the ABC prime time. Our product outperformed the clinical averages in less than half the time on national television. Sign me up for the product. And then I saw how much Jackie was earning on average as a Pro 8. And I said, man, if that old lady can make that much money, I'm in. Stop the meeting. I want to sign up, put my kids to bed, and then I'll learn how to do it. Well, I love Jackie. She's become so dear to us, and I know she has to all of you as well. It is so good to see all of you, Jerry and Kathy and everybody here. Renee, there you are. Love it. I mean, this is great just to see everybody. Lisa, Claire, I love this team. And the very next day, I was in the parking lot of Taco Bell. This is kind of a confession. I like an 89-cent bean burrito. That's pretty much the only fast food I have. I might get Chick-fil-A, but anyway, so I'm in the parking lot in my truck. I get a call from Pennsylvania, and because I have FOMO, fear of missing out, I usually answer every single call that comes to me. I picked it up, and Julie is introducing herself to me. And she shares with me how she knows Jackie and Mark and Krista and the people who enrolled me. And I just thought, wow, this really made an impression on me. And Julie, you have such a good and precious heart for the Lord and his people, all of us. You treat us, as family. And I just want to thank you for always being willing to help. Even people like 20 levels down below you, you're always ready to help people. And I love your heart. And I love the way that has matriculated down throughout your whole business organization. So thank you, Julie White, for all that you do and all that you continue to do for us. Well, I went home and shared this with my wife. She was not pleased at all that I'd enrolled in network marketing and set about to prove me wrong. And she read through all of the peer-reviewed studies on Protandim. The ABC primetime was not enough for her. And she woke me up the next morning and said, I've never seen this much solid science from reputable institutions on an all-natural product ever. And so that was about 6 years ago. Like Julie said, we're at Pro 6 right now. We've got a phenomenal team, and many of you are part of that. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. I love your vision. I love your heart. I love the calling that God has given to you. And I love the way that you continue to pursue this because that if this is something that the Lord has put into your life, he's given it to you as an instrument to increase your health, to help the health of others, and to increase funding for yours and other people's ministry. I love the way that you continue to pursue after that. This is not a business for the faint of heart. If you want to go beyond Pro 2, you've got to deal with some significant rejection, and you have to deal face to face with your fear of man on a regular basis. And you have to grab yourself up by the scruff of the neck and say, I know this stuff works. I know it's legitimate. And if David Misener and Julie White can earn that kind of money, I can certainly do it too. And it's true. It's true. You don't have to be a rocket surgeon to do this. You just have to be persistent and be coachable and teachable, and be willing really to believe the Lord gave it to you. And if he gave it to you, he will give you the grace to help you persevere and to ultimately be successful. Julie mentioned that I have a master's in gerontology. I went into gerontology with a mental health focus and became a counselor after that. I did that because I wanted to learn from people who were older than me. And as I was finishing my degree, I became a counselor. I became a hospice counselor, and I wanted to learn from people who were face to face with their own mortality, people who'd lived for decades and had learned from mistakes and successes. And I just wanted to have the sacred privilege of sitting with them in their last days and weeks of their lives, and just to hear their heart, to listen to them, and to glean what I could, and maybe try to help them, just at least with a presence, just with, if nothing else, just my presence at their bedside when, their families were dealing with their stuff. And, people are in nursing homes, hospitals, it's very challenging. And I just wanted to learn from them. And I learned about, I just gained a new level of appreciation for how God knit us together. We're all fearfully and wonderfully made, and how original sin has just that ever increasing degenerative effect on our bodies and our minds. I saw people who, precious people who had incredible intellects, and I just watched them, decay over the course of weeks and even months. And I would, and sometimes they'd have periods of lucidity where you'd listen to them and you're like, oh my goodness, what is this person doing here in this nursing home? And then 5 minutes later, they would just be, uttering in unintelligible words. Maybe they were praying in the spirit, I don't know, but it was so humbling for me to watch this decay and degeneration, and just the effect on our minds and bodies of original sin. And I wanted to learn, Lord, teach me, because our time in this life is short. And I wanted to help people. I wanted anything that I could do to help them connect with the Lord, to just help them process the last portion of their lives. And so I naturally had an interest in helping people to make the most of their time here while they had it. And listen to this, as long as you have breath in your lungs and your heart is beating, you can help change the ending of your story, right? Whether your ending is for the next 50 years or 10 years or 6 months, you can still change the trajectory of the narrative of your story. And if you're not completely satisfied with what your life has done, and you're not completely content with it, you absolutely can do something to change that. And I'm not just talking about your business, obviously, though that is a part of it. If the Lord has given this to me as a talent, I don't want to bury this talent of LifeVantage, of this business. I want him to teach me. I want to be a shrewd manager. I want to be wise as a serpent, yet harmless as a dove. I want to do the very best that I can, because all of you here, all of you have seen what this product can do for people. I've seen it. There's nobody here from the FDA. I've seen, Julie, am I okay a little bit? Let me just say this. Go ahead, Julie.
Go ahead.
All right. Let me just say this. You've seen what this product can do for people cognitively, the way they think, the clarity of their mind, the way, let me phrase it this way, the way of increasing our body's ability to heal itself by helping our body's natural ability to reduce oxidative stress. All of the manifestations that can be realized in someone's life, okay? Again, cognitively, mentally, their mental health, their physical health, of course. You know the testimonies, you've seen them, or you would not be on this call right now. You know what this can do for people. And if I can help people to rewrite the last portion of their life, again, whether it's the next, I want to be around for another 50 years. I'm already 86. I want to be around for another 50 years. I want to help people rewrite that narrative of their life, change the trajectory of where they're going, so that they can prepare, have more time to prepare for eternity, right? God would want that none should perish. That's the only reason he has mercy for us and for this world, is so that none would perish. He has so much grace. He wants to give us as much time as possible. And he's really smart. He knows how to mitigate all of that stuff and control for all those variables. And so I want to be a part of that. This is an extension of ministry. I see this, these products that we have to offer to people. Think about the incredible testimonies that we've seen, and changing the financial trajectory of people. I have people who are making more money now than they ever have in their lives, right? And they're building this retirement. It's like this pension that they're building up. As a Pro 6, if you look at the figures, I have over $1 million in savings, earning 6%. And I'm drawing on that. That's being deposited in my account every single month, right? I'm still working at it, right? Because I want it to go. And here's one of the things I wanted to share today. Every single one of us, I'm just taking a quick glance around, and from what I know from everybody, and as long as I've been in this business, I know all of us have felt stuck at some point. I was stuck this morning. I knew what I needed to do for business, but I had to make myself do it. I didn't feel like doing it. I have to remind myself of all the reasons why I'm doing it, all the people's lives I have affected, are affecting, and will be affecting as I do the work that I need to. And if you're married, your spouse is connected to your calling as well. They are in fact, that's the first thing that Julie mentioned about me, is I've been married. It'll be 30 years next year to Lena. And that is the very most, the greatest thing that I've done in my life. Okay. My kids are right there too. That's all a part of it. And so as I'm doing my business, it's affecting my wife as well, and the full manifestation of her calling, and then my children. And I know some of you have grandchildren, and your friends and their friends, and by all that, my personal business is having an effect on dozens of people's families and lives. I mean, think of that exponential effect that we have when we pick up that phone and we make that phone call, or we follow up for that fourth and fifth time when 80% of the people say yes, right? That's the impact. It's that butterfly effect that Andy Andrews talks about, where, just one little action of one person has a ripple effect for decades and even centuries, if you really look at it. I mean, think about the ripple effect of Eve, and Adam, but think about the ripple effect of what Jesus did. And then when I'm joining with him in this business, he's the best business partner you have. Julie's great, and I might be able to help a little bit. Debbie Packard might be able to help a little bit, but the Lord, the Holy Spirit, is your very best business partner. That is the most powerful thing that you can add to your business. The moment that you think that you're all on your own doing it, it's like you're kicking God out of your office. It's like, Lord, I don't believe that you can help me with this, and I know I can't do it by myself, so I'm just not going to do it. Think about that as a practical atheistic viewpoint, right? I'm a practical atheist anytime I don't believe that God can do something through me or won't do something through me, right? That's not what he says at all. So I got to Pro 6 about a year ago, and I say this whole team, it's a reflection of every person who's working in my team. We got to Pro 6. I used to listen to elites up there, and they would say things like that, and I'm like, dude, you're the one that did all the business, or girl, you're the one that did the business. And the more I do this, this is absolutely one of the greatest things about this business is you absolutely cannot do it unless you have a team of people who are doing it. So it's everyone's effort. And so as you raise in ranks, I want to encourage you to celebrate with your whole team and do things to celebrate them. When I turned Pro 6, Debbie Packard got me, and her team got me a pen. Here it is. This is my Pro 6 pen. I love excellent pens. This is an excellent pen. I love it. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Jeannie, and everybody that was a part of that. I mean, they're giving me a pen for rank advancing to Pro 6. What an incredible team. So, but at Pro 6, and everybody's different. So for some people, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But at Pro 6, I'm making enough money that I could kind of feel there's this force that's pulling me back to say, hey, you can coast. And it's like this inertia of mediocrity. And I've been feeling it really powerfully the last few months. Right after, I'll just be honest, right after we were in Mexico, and it was such an incredible thing to share that with my wife and my daughters, and all that was, what a huge celebration that was. I was flying so high. And then within a few weeks, we've got this COVID thing going on. And then several other things happened within our family. And now we've got all this thing. And there's so much that's pulling me back that says, don't work so hard. Don't fight so hard. Just relax, and you'll be fine with this level that you're at. And I find that mingled also with the dynamic of a fear of success. And you've heard of a fear of failure. Okay, that's a part of it. But I want to talk a little bit about a fear of success. And that is, there's a part of me that absolutely knows and believes that I can and should be an elite distributor. And I can do that. I know how to do that. But there's another part of me that says, if I get there, can I maintain that level? That expectation of myself, the expectation of others. Can I keep that level of excellence in leadership? Can I maintain that? That'll be hard. I'll have to change some things about who I am. And our flesh naturally wants to go back to what's comfortable. And, there's no progress, there's in our comfort zone. There's just not. You have to continually challenge yourself. And Julie, I can wrap this up at any time you want me to. There's more I can keep saying if you'd like.
Yes, yeah, keep on for a little bit, because I love what you're sharing. It's just very motivating and inspirational, and I love your honesty, just speaking from your heart. I love your heart. So go ahead and share what you want to share.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of time.
Thanks. I want to be honest, because you never ever want to let people on your team think that, oh, this is easy. Getting here and staying here is easy, and progressing is easy too. It's not. It's very challenging. It will challenge you to the core. And about a year ago, I started with a personal trainer, which was, I had to really humble myself to do that, because I have been doing triathlons, sports, all sorts of things for the last 40 years. And, why would I pay somebody to tell me something I could probably be making money at doing? But I finally did. I finally did, and I literally limped in to the health club, and I talked to this person. And as I'm listening, I'm like, they really have something to offer me, because here's the thing about us is we tend to not be real honest with ourselves. It just doesn't come naturally about where our weaknesses are, areas that we need to strengthen, areas that we need to, just kind of grab a hold of and take authority over. It's not something that comes naturally to us. And sometimes, let me say often, especially if you're married, God will use somebody else to point out a deficiency in yourself. an area of weakness, that's something that needs to be strengthened, a blind spot that you're not seeing. And this is what that trainer was doing. And one of the things the trainer was teaching me was that, our brain naturally wants to go for the least amount of effort or energy required to do an activity, right? And so the biggest part of the training that I've been doing for the last year is retraining my brain to engage different parts of my body that heretofore I've not been using very well. And when you're younger, you can get away with that because your body overall is stronger. But as you get older, I turned 54, I'm not 83, 54. As I get older, my body is not as capable of compensating or, making up for the weaknesses of the other. And we find that as we grow in business and leadership and personal development, that as we get challenged more, which if you're going to develop as a leader, as a person, as a husband, as a wife, and this is so necessary as you move on in the years in marriage, you can no longer rely on your strengths to carry you through. Your spouse may not be as impressed with your strengths as they used to be, and the weaknesses can become more glaring. Well, that's true of every aspect of our lives, physically, mentally, business, relationally. And so we have to have sometimes somebody else point out those areas that we're blind to so that we can say, oh yeah, you're right. I really do need to work on that. And to the extent that we are honest with ourselves, number one, we admit that there's an area that needs to be strengthened. And then two, we make the effort, we identify ways that we can strengthen it. And three, this is huge, is actually implementing, putting into action what we know we should be doing. And that's the key. And so that's I've honestly, with each level of advancement in LifeVantage, I've had to become a different version of myself, a better version, a better leader, a better man, a better husband, a better father, all around. I've had to do that in order to continue to advance. And I love this business. You probably heard this before, but it's like a leadership advancement. It's like leadership training that the company incentivizes you to do, right? The company rewards you for becoming a better leader, a stronger leader. And leaders are always looking for ways that they can help other people. That is the absolute key, because when you start focusing on yourself, when you start navel gazing, you will naturally begin to atrophy personally and your business. It's just a natural thing that will happen. And so I love hearing people's visions, their callings, the desires of their hearts, what makes their heart come alive, because then I can best try to figure out and pray into how I can best help them. Of course, somebody else has to be willing to do that. And everybody's season, everybody's timing is different. If somebody's not ready or doesn't want to go beyond Pro 2, that's fine. That's fine. I need to know that. I need to know where somebody's goals are. And if they're fine at Pro 2 or Pro 3, that's great. If you want to progress into premier ranks or even elite ranks, I need to know that as well. And one of the things I say is, listen, if I'm not doing it for you, go find somebody who can, speak to your heart. Sherry Hollenbach, Blue Elam, I don't care who it is, Scott Satterfield, anybody, whoever it is. I mean, do end runs around me. I love that. I love that. I want to encourage that, because I get different things from different people. And there's some people that at the point I am in my life, in personal development, this person speaks to me more. At a different part, it's somebody else. And so avail yourself of the different leaders who are in LifeVantage, and don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid to move around. Have a cadre of them at your disposal. So thank you for letting me share, Julie. What would you like to do now?
Absolutely. That was awesome. You shared so many nuggets, and I love how you ended here with just becoming the best version of yourself and continuing to grow. I've had to do the same thing, just, reading those personal growth and development books and just becoming, a better person, just learning, better skills on how to help people, how to relate to people. And so that's all good. Do you have a little time for Q&A, David?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I see Debbie Packard has a question in the chat box. She's saying, when you were stuck earlier today, what did you do to get yourself moving? Tips.
I began to ask the Lord. I said, Lord, help me to see Lena's heart. Lena's my wife. Help me to see Lena's heart, what makes her come alive, the way you've designed her, and the calling. And help me to see how that has changed, or at least my understanding of it has changed over the year, and help me to see her as your daughter. And how, because I know I want to do everything to help my daughters. So Lord, help me to see my wife as your daughter, and what I can do to partner with her, how I can help release her into the fullness of that. So that's what I did. If it's not your spouse, think of somebody else. Think of your children. If you have children, Lord, how would me becoming an elite distributor help release my children, into ministry, or Lord, put someone on my heart, Lord, and tell me your thoughts about them. What are your thoughts about them? What are your feelings? How do you feel towards that person? And help me to see, a member of your team or somebody that God's put on your heart earlier, and then how can me becoming a better person help them? And Lord, help me to see your pleasure in that as well.
Great. Okay, does anybody else have a question for David? You can unmute yourself or type it in the chat box. Any questions? I know one of the things that I was reminded of recently was when I joined LifeVantage, and it's going almost 10 years ago now. It was a similar situation to what we're in right now. The economy was on a downward spiral, and so there was a lot of people with needs. And I was just reminded of, just how much that meant to me, even though I didn't really have an understanding of what all was involved, because I don't think you do until you actually get involved in this. I didn't understand anything about, really how network marketing worked or anything like that. But after I got in it and just saw the potential of how you can make a difference in the lives of others, like you're talking about, David, the lives of, so many families and so many people, and how it's affected me. It just motivates me to want to reach out at a time like this when, so many people are struggling and going through things with their health, looking for a home-based business. So I think we have to just really, like you were saying today, we have to remind ourselves when we feel stuck, when we feel unmotivated to do our, daily action plan. We need to remind ourselves of our why and, the difference that we can make. Okay, Debbie has another comment or question here. Maybe ask him to help us see what he has in store for us to catch his vision for us. That's good. Yeah. And yeah, so I'm getting comments that, this has been really wonderful. They appreciate what you're sharing, David. So that's.
I have a question. Can I ask some questions?
Absolutely.
Okay, Kathy, I'm going to put you on the spot. Kathy Fruity. Kathy, how many miles on your bike did you ride today?
I didn't ride my bike today.
Okay.
I did yesterday. I only put on 16 yesterday, and the day before I put on about 25.
That's amazing. I love that. I love riding. When I go up to Racine, I'm bringing my bike and I want to go on the trail. Hey, so Kathy, would you share, Julie, is this all right if I ask Kathy to share her vision, her why?
Absolutely. I'd love to hear it. Yes.
Okay. I'm totally putting her on the spot right now.
Totally are putting me on the spot. I have a grandson that lives in Washington, D.C. He's 2.5, and he's just got hold of my heart. I I would love to be able to go visit him once a month, but the finances aren't there. My sister was in a terrible car accident in February, and my niece died, my beautiful 27-year-old amazing niece. And I wanted to be at the hospital with my sister every day, and I was not able to because I have to work full time. My mom is 88, and I would love for her to be able to live with me and for me to spend more time with her, but I can't because I work. In 2007, 2008, we had a family commercial construction company, and that recession really did us in financially. We ended up closing the business in 2015 after two very large customers filed bankruptcy on us, more than $250,000. So I'm starting over. I'm completely starting over. I have debt. There's this little song, I owe, so off to work I go. It's not funny though, it's reality. So I'm hopeful that I'll be able to rebuild my retirement. I'm really confident, not hopeful. I'm very confident that I will be able to rebuild my retirement and regain my time freedom so that the rest of the years I have left on this earth, I can spend with people that I love and work my LifeVantage business, helping people that way as well. That's my why.
Yeah, I love that. Kathy, you have such a heart for people, and you have such an ability to encourage people. You're such an encouraging person, Kathy. You know, Kathy she'll do some kind of these devotions or, minute with Kathy or whatever. I don't know, I'm making that up. But she has such an ability to really help people feel encouraged. I mean, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. And you have such a wealth, you have such a reservoir of value to give to people and to help them. And I hate all the ways that Satan tries to keep us down and restrict us and try to, strangle our callings. And I want to do everything I can, Kathy, to help you get everything that God's put on your heart, to make that happen, because you have so much to offer people. And that's really at the bottom line. That's what's so powerful about this LifeVantage business is we really do have a drop of mercy in the form of a pill. And we have even more than that. Once we get people thinking and their bodies working better, we have the ability to really change the eternal course of their lives. We really do. And so I love this company. I love Julie, what you do and everyone in our team does, Debbie, to help people just make their hearts come alive again and share that, be a fountain of living water that overpours into the lives of other people. So Kathy, thank you for sharing that. Thank you very much. Thank you for all you do.
Yes, that's beautiful, Kathy, a beautiful why. And it just reminds me again of, how all of us working together can just make this kind of thing happen for so many families and people. And, I think sometimes we're not aware of where people are at in their business and how we can all pull together to help people. And I love the times that I've seen this happen. And I must say, I've seen this happen more in the beginning years of my experience with LifeVantage than I have recently. I'm not exactly sure why, but David, do you remember the times when, I can remember times when Krista and Mark were, working on the next rank, and then, it's like you said, David, you didn't just achieve Pro 6, it's like your whole team together, and it's the same way with Mark and Chris. And I can remember, at the end of the month already, Chris is saying, hey, so-and-so needs like so many new distributors to reach their next rank. And I think that, we all need to kind of get a little more connected and a little bit more aware of where individuals on our team and our leaders are at, so that we can all pull together like that, because it is just so powerful. It's so like invigorating when you see this kind of thing happen.
Well, that just happened to Debbie last month. Debbie, do you want to share a little bit about that?
we did have an amazing month last month. Leah Gerard is just an amazing distributor with an amazing team who are really making a difference in the world. And she'd been pushing for a couple months, but last month she just really had on her heart to reach Pro 4. And as she was reaching for that, Carol Roberts was reaching for Pro 3. And I know it hasn't just been last month, just in the last 2 or 3 months, we've had a number of people who have really been working to reach a new rank. And so by the end of May, Leah had reached Pro 4 and Carol had reached Pro 3. And I had returned to Pro 5, and we had people who were joining at Pro, as platinum distributors, and Yvette is doing an amazing job too. She's here in this group, and I just love what she's doing in terms of really, she's not just out there selling products, she's really supporting people and reaching out to help people from the inside. And it's been such a blessing to me the way that she is intently going after this business. And so we just, it was just like you were saying, Julie, it really starts at the bottom and just keeps building up and building up. And really every one of you here tonight are part of why I'm encouraged. It's part of what keeps me going, is just seeing your faces and hearing your stories. And some of us are connected more than others in terms of what the business lines say, but we really are all on one team doing this. And it supports, we all support one another in one way or the other. David's been amazing for all of us, and he is a great leader to be able to say, okay, what can we do to help get this person to that rank? We need to find some people to really help them do that. So he's been a great example to all of us too.
Well, and I've learned that from Julie and Krista and Jackie Shepard, and watching other teams as well. When you see people are right on the verge of getting a substantial rank, Debbie to Pro 5 again, and then Leah to Pro 4, Carol to Pro 3, you look at the volume, okay, who would need what, and you look for just incentives that you can help encourage that to happen. And it's an amazing thing. I had another Stephanie Kaisman say, the end of the month can be magical, and because volume, you've got a whole team at that point, when people see that you're so close to a finish line, hitting another rank, that you just need some help, some encouragement. And then the whole team comes around you. And then, because you're used to thinking, oh, this is all dependent on me, and I hope this happens and this happens. And then you have a whole team who is getting, they're encouraging you, they're cheering you on, they're helping you push that ball down, forgive the football analogy, they're helping you push that ball down the field, and you're so close to the finish line. And then you're like at that 2-minute drill, and then all the energy is putting on. My family, my whole extended family, they know that for the last few days of the month, David is not available. And because I'm just looking to help people rank advance at that end of the month. Because when you help people in ways like that, there's such an energy and a commitment that's solidified in relationships that are developed. And it's fun. It's a lot of work sometimes, right? But it's a lot of fun. And you celebrate, everybody celebrates together.
Yeah, it's very well said, David. So true. It is fun and exciting and invigorating, and it brings us all closer together. So that's awesome. I see here, people are just really appreciating, what you're sharing tonight, David, and how an amazing leader you are. So thanks so much for encouraging us tonight. And I just love this time that we've had together tonight. It's been very special. I'm just going to mention a couple of things here before we close. So David talked about the end of the month and how important that is. And there's like 8 days that remain. We have a great incentive, flip the switch, that we still have a little bit of time to help people get that extra income. We have some great bundles, the Neurohacker bundle and Brain Basics and the Smart Power to help people with and to receive some savings. And then tomorrow night, LifeVantage has their opportunity presentation, and this week it's Shauna Mucklow. She's a Pro 7. She's very good. I've heard her before. And then I don't know if you guys have been appreciating the Success Mastery on Saturdays, but I've been getting a lot out of that. I would encourage all of you to, put that on your calendar. And if you weren't on this last week, there was a great training by Sharice Matthews. She's a Pro 8, and she shared about how to overcome objections. And it was one of the best teachings that I heard on overcoming objections. So I encourage you to look for that recording. I'm sure it'll be showing up in time in our LifeVantage Monthly Playbook. So that was really good. So with that, I just want to thank everyone for being on here tonight. It sure was a special time. David, a special thanks to you and the others from your team that shared tonight as well. I love all of your hearts. You are all just amazing people. And so thank you so much for being on here. And with that, we're just going to say it's a wrap. So God bless you all and just have a wonderful rest of the week. All righty.
Thank you,
Bye-bye,
Julie.
everyone. Yeah.
Bye.
Blessings to you all. Bye.
Thanks, David.
Good night.